Hello, New Malaysia. Welcome to Hello Kopi Milo podcast. On this week's episode, we have none other than Alisya Fairuz. Last week was the election, and we got good news and some public holiday, and the whole Malaysia was vibing it. So I decided to push the episode to this week instead. Alisya Fairuz is a gem. She's one of a kind, a strong woman, a mom, an artist, and a creator overall. Her creativity transcends the future, man. This is me sitting down with Alisya Fairuz, talking about everything gold, valuable lesson that we can all learn about life. Enjoy this episode, guys. Don't forget to rate me on iTunes, listen on Spotify, or visit me youtube.com/MiloFico, or hellokopicamilo.com. Enjoy episode 8 with Alisya Fairuz. Hello Kopi Camilo.
Oh yeah, speaking 4715 Y4. Why?
Alisya.
Oh, okay.
4 is A, 7
Okay.
is L, 1 is I,
It's the other way.
5 is S.
Wow.
Yeah, it's my name and numbers.
Oh my gosh, look at that. Ultra
Yeah.
creative genius.
No.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Alright. Today we have Alisya Fairuz, the ultra creative genius,
Ultra creative genius.
on Hello Kopi Camilo podcast. Welcome, Alisya.
Hello, hi.
Hi. So for the listeners who don't know, who is Alisya Fairuz and how young is she?
Alisya Fairuz is. I have trouble associating myself with adjectives, but I'm 20. I'm turning 24 in October.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
24.
Yeah.
24 years young. How would you describe yourself though? Like, there's an ultra creative genius like suits you.
I mean, I guess I've. Oh my god. Well, I guess I change from time to time, but one thing I guess people like to associate me with is me being creative. So I always like to make things.
Mhm.
So I guess like that girl that likes to make things.
I
Yeah.
see. How long have you been creating in general? Like, when can you remember the moment, that first day of light that you remember you were creating something from scratch?
I guess the most vivid memory I had was when I was like maybe 4 or 5 years old, and my sister was watching MTV, and I really think it was NSYNC, and I was just
Right.
drawing Powerpuff Girls at that time.
Wow.
Yeah, like on the paper, and like making a birthday card for my like classmate, because that's the most vivid memory I had, like one of my early times.
Cool.
Yeah.
So were your parents like always supportive of like pushing you and
In terms of like
In
my
terms-
my
yeah.
art. My dad wasn't very verbal about it, but my mom was. My mom still is, because my mom is an architect herself.
Okay.
So she has always been very supportive, and she's always been like pushing me to go for it. Yeah.
So were you the youngest? Were you the only child, or
I'm
you
the
have-
youngest.
The youngest.
Yeah.
Okay, out of
3. I have an older brother, is 26, and sister is 31. Yeah.
So I presume like they are all creatives themselves, or you're the only one?
I actually think my whole family is creative, because
Yeah.
my dad he makes furnitures from scratch. Like he takes the wood and like he assembles a table, and my brother like he does like his own graffiti and stuff like that. My sister as well, she sketches, but none of them practice it as much as I do.
Okay.
Yeah, so most of them just like end up doing other things, but they always have that in them, I guess. Yeah.
So you grew up in Subang,
Yes.
am I right?
Yes,
Where do you go to school?
Oh, sorry.
Oops.
I am so sorry.
Oh, good.
I go to USJ 13.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I smoke? I'm a bit
Yeah,
nervous.
sure. Go ahead.
I'm so nervous.
Okay. USG 13. How was that like?
Oh my god. I think I hated high school.
You hated high school?
Yeah.
Whoa.
I mean, sorry if anyone
Yeah,
is
all
watching
good.
this. I think everyone who's very close to me would know why I hated high school. High school was very bad for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, people were very mean.
Because USJ 13 has that sort of image where the cool kids go to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like all the cool kids, if you ask them,
Yeah.
the Subang people, like where are you from? Oh, USJ. Then you can guess like
Actually,
it's
is it
13. I
13?
don't know why they are all stuck in the same school, right?
Bad idea, right? But what a bad idea. Yeah.
What is your first medium of creative that you can remember? Was it drawing or has it
Oh.
always been drawing?
Yes, I think it has always been like, I mean, my first go-to has always been drawing, definitely. Yeah.
Okay, so during high school it was a practice. It was a phase of. Do you do a lot of sketches as well?
In high school, actually, not really. I realized that like I drew a lot more when I was in primary school and as a kid. Like high school, because of all the unnecessary stuff that you had to go through.
I see.
I realized like I didn't practice it as much, and I didn't notice how much I actually enjoy it. So it was just more of like angry drawing when I go back home, like emo drawing, like
I see.
fuck everyone, fuck the world, and am I allowed to swear?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure, okay. Yeah, so it was a lot of that. So in high school, I didn't even take the art stream. So I never managed to fully develop anything in high school.
So
much, yeah.
after USG 13, you went to tailors.
I did.
So you finished design.
I did advertising.
Advertising.
Actually, yeah, I never had proper education in
Okay.
art. Yeah,
Wow.
it's
Cool.
more like self-taught.
I see. So let me ask you a question because I did some I did some a little bit of like homework sort of. The door that you painted. Right?
Oh my god!
Right?
Where did you see this though?
So
oh
is
my
it
god.
is the door still white or is it
No,
no, it's like black and it has
yeah.
the word create on
Yeah.
it. It's still what it is or you added
no,
more
actually now it's no, actually the door is painted fully black now.
Yeah?
Yeah, but that door is legendary though. Like
Yeah?
before that picture, you saw the word create. It used to be full on like like my friends and I would bomb the door like Cairo, Riz,
right.
everyone like from I don't know if you know them. They probably went to Bichara, but like all of them, they would come over and like they would write some stuff on the door, and then I would like paint like very emotional stuff on it. It was very it was like that door. Everyone like because I always took pictures in front of that door back then.
I see,
yeah.
I see. So like apart from
I
yeah.
can't believe you know about that. That's cool. That's
So you do a lot of gravity work as well? Because I saw that you have some association with clockwork.
Oh yeah. I
Right?
mean, I only did like actual graffiti like outside like probably twice in my life, but I do them in my book when I was younger. I just haven't properly managed to practice it myself. But last year I was involved for a while in this program called the what's it called? TUG. Well, it has to do with Singapore art gallery.
Okay.
So it's called the Uncommon Good. Yeah. So Clockwork was my mentor.
I see.
Yeah, and Clockwork has helped me a lot through university work. When like college, I had to do videos, and I always called him up to interview him and stuff like that.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. And then like apart from drawing, gravity work, you also do a little bit of music as well. Do you sing or more of like beats making?
Oh, well, I actually don't make music at all.
Okay.
But I have a lot of friends who make music. So like some of my friends just sample my voice and like, and like I put my input. Cause I do a lot of artwork for them. Yeah, because most of my friends, people come up with like new songs every day. So they just need like that go-to.
Yeah, your archive of album cover is crazy.
Yeah.
You have a lot.
Yeah.
Even with events for raising the bar, the last year, the orange color event.
That one for
Was
New
it
Year's.
Gasket Ali?
Yeah,
Right.
Gasket
You did
Ali,
that, and
yeah.
before that, you've always added a lot of like new
Yeah,
work every single
yeah,
time, man.
yeah.
You're like let's say like for every rapper there's like a beat maker. You're
Yeah.
like for every musician there's like an
Exactly.
album cover artist, right?
Exactly.
You're the one.
But
Cool.
I'm trying to get like I'm trying to look for more like bands and stuff like that to do as well, because I've been doing a lot for rappers.
I see.
Yeah, and like I'm trying to like get out of just making like rap music, like making rap artwork. Yeah.
Is it like easy or is it like more you have to cater towards their wants and needs?
Depends. Like for my friends, because for people like under like Hoax Vision or like my friends from like Ready Rocket and stuff like that, because they knew me for a long time, so they always give me the liberty to like do whatever you want, whatever you feel like it. But when you have clients, then I have to like there's red tapes and boundaries where you have to like, you know, respect and stuff like that. So
Speaking of clients, is Pantun Pin part of your project, or are they sort of your client?
Oh, you're my client.
They're
Yeah,
your client.
Pantun
So
Pins.
that one you have some boundaries to go to.
Not really. Actually, Pantun Pins was one of my favorite clients because they approached me for my illustrations. Like I illustrated this thing called ASAP Pocky, like ASAP Rocky, but Pocky box. And he funny was that like it had to do. I had a showcase at Thursday's Cafe, so all my artwork was up there, and ASAP Pocky was one of them. So Shaq, the founder of Pantun Pins, approached me and like, I want to make a pin out of this. So then it's like, can you make another 4 more? And then I was like, okay, sure. And then it's like, what do you want me to make? Anything you want. So it's like anything.
ASAP Pocky, and
then there's Drake, and then there's Frank Ocean, and then there's Kim. Yeah.
Drake was the best seller, I guess.
Yeah, I
right?
mean, I finally like all of them kind of sold out. Yeah. So, but one of the big ones I did for Pantun Pins was when Rich Chiga came down. So I did for Rich Chiga as well. Yeah. Pantun Pins is cool.
Yeah.
Follow Pantun Pins, guys.
Yeah. Shout out to Pantun Pins.
Yeah. Pantun
But
Pins.
how does side projects help you in your general artwork? Let's say you have this Buffer Gang, was it? Is that your
Buffer Gang,
and All in Her Sleep? That's yours as well.
Yeah.
How does it help in your branding in a whole? Like, why do you have side projects instead of no
making into one entity?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a tough one actually, because anyone who knows me, that I would know that I never ever have a concrete idea. So I kind of create
so a constant juice coming out.
So I create multiple like persona, I guess. So like for my pop culture stuff, like Pantun Pins is under Buffer Gang. So Buffer Gang creates only like pop culture stuff for the people, whereas All is in Her Sleep, or Alice in Her Sleep, is my like for my client work, where I do for more corporate stuff and like that, because I don't want to mix them too. Yeah, but I kind of have trouble with branding right now, because I feel like people end up just calling me for 71554.
Some days I could feel myself reaching out off of the surface, my fingers grasping the edge, but tonight I could feel my feet dance around nothingness, sinking deeper and deeper, losing my breath. Rhythm that helped no longer help. I was grasping for air when a hand reached out and brought me out of the water. Out of the water, yeah. So you're like a designer / poet.
Oh my god.
/ you are everything.
I'm just a romantic. No, yeah, well, what do you want me to? You want me to explain that?
Yeah.
I think it's very self-explanatory. Okay. Well, that was during a time where I think a lot of people, everyone kind of have those days where it's like really bad, and like sometimes like we tend to like drown ourselves in that bad days and like feel like might be permanent, and we feel like, hey, you don't want to wake up from bed, or you don't want to do anything, things just don't get productive, and you become lazy, and it kind of eat up like on you. And especially now in a fast-paced generation, fast-paced era, that everything's like, you know, and you feel like constantly like, am I doing enough? You're comparing yourself to other people, stuff like that. I mean, it's probably different problems with everyone, you know. So that's what drowning is for me, like at that time as well, like with a lot of things going on. And then sometimes you kind of like need help, like whether it's through religion or family or friends or a loved one, you know. So that one was for this person in my life, but at that time where I was going through a really bad phase, and he kind of like snapped me out of like that and like come back to reality.
I see.
Yeah, which was like really nice. But my friend last year used up my writing to make a song, so it was funny, like hearing all my like sad stories become a song and people singing to it. It was very funny. Yeah.
But sometimes it's like a purge, it's like a therapy for you, right?
Yeah.
For anyone actually to write and Yeah, do you see yourself releasing any like books in the future with illustration?
I do
Oh, you already
actually.
did.
I
Oh,
mean, no, I have not.
okay.
But it is like one of my dreams to like make a zine or something, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've always wanted to like collaborate with people, or if not, just like come up with like my writings and my illustrations together. But yeah, but like yeah,
Yeah,
someday.
that would be dope.
That would be
Self-titled like F 4715Y4,
maybe
right?
I don't know yet. I haven't
For
figured
sure.
that out yet. Yeah. Whoa, what was that? Should I go check? Okay, never
You
mind.
wanna go check?
Okay.
But what I like about what you went through and what you are as a person is, you don't give a fuck about what other people think, and it's hard to find that strength in Malaysia. In KL, where the
Yourself.
challenges are hard, where you wanna you have a certain belief, but then you will be judged for behaving a certain way
Oh,
and
yeah,
stuff like that,
exactly.
right? So our challenges are different, and what I
Exactly.
like about what you're doing and what you are as a person is you don't really care.
Yeah.
You are what you are. You know,
Yeah.
you have faces like you mentioned, Lola, Young Buddha, and then another side project and another thing.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, it all merged into one. But
Yeah.
and yeah, it's just you. You are being yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I really admire that
Oh,
as
thank you.
in all.
I mean, at some point, like, if I, I always go back to high school because I think that shaped me so much for who I am today. Like, a lot of things happened in school, like
Mm.
you know, so like it was my most emotional state as well, where it was so chaotic, where I feel like at that point, like, what more can happen to me that involves other people that I should care about. For example, like, I mean, like, okay, people at the end of the day, people will talk,
Mm.
and as cliche as that is, but like, it still affects some people. But like, just, just like, jangan kacau orang lah. Like, just do you, jangan kacau orang. That's me. So if people wanna care, then I'm like, it's cool. Like, I know myself, you know.
Okay. So you
Yeah.
mentioned that you were from Subang and then you ran away to Taman Tun. What would be the most like obvious differences that you see with people from Subang and Taman Tun?
Taman Tun was amazing for me. I was
Yeah?
18 and or 19, and like they were so open. Like, Subang Jaya at that time, I don't know if it still is now. I feel like we were very conservative, as much as we tried to be more open. Because I come from there, and most of us are probably either average living or wealthy, and then like so we have this mindset where we are. I don't like to say that we are the shit, because I don't think we are at all. But I don't know why, like, Jofli Zomir saw budak Subang Jaya ada gaya. Like, why? You know, so these kids have this mentality.
Like we are so cool.
Yeah, we are cool, but we're not. Like, if you
Yeah.
ask every individual, I don't think anyone thinks that. But collectively, maybe there is that in their head that we might be like, you know. So but the funny part is we try to adopt this Western culture from maybe TV and stuff. Like at that time, maybe Gossip Girl or like, I don't know, The Hills or whatever, and we want that lifestyle, but we still have the conservative mind. So it doesn't relate. And when I went to Taman Tun, people were very open. Like, no one looked at me different. Like, it was fine. Like, I like to do art. They didn't associate me with anything. They just like, they were very supportive. You know. So when I worked at this coffee shop called Thursdays in Taman Tun, right? And then where I met the most amazing people, and they were the ones who actually got me here today. Because like on my birthday, on my 21st birthday, on my 20th birthday, all of them collectively bought me a drawing tablet for my birthday. So that's
Wow.
one of the reasons why I managed to do illustrations today.
Wow.
Like, without that, I probably don't know if I, like, you know.
Right.
So the support is really there, the love is really there. That was really, like, that was amazing. Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, so speaking of Thursday, right? So we venture into coffee, right? You mentioned, was that your first place that you work in?
Yeah,
Thursdays.
in a coffee shop,
Yeah.
F&B definitely. Yeah, that was the
Thursdays.
first.
Oh, how was
Thursdays, yeah.
that like? How was the learning experience like in
Oh.
the specialty coffee?
Intense. Specialty coffee is one thing, because I only got like more like education in coffee like a little bit later, but working in Thursdays was very intense, and it kind of like shaped who I am today, like in terms of discipline, because I worked under Hadri,
The owner.
yeah, the owner of Thursdays, who's like a very dear, like, he's like a father figure to me.
Wow.
So when we worked there, like, everything looked really cool from the outside. Like, people were nice, you're playing good music, and like, everyone was like you know, and you're like, hey, I want to be a part of this, like me, like 20 years old. So I started working, and like there's so much I did not know, like in terms of discipline as well. Like Hadri's very strict,
Okay.
so he's like he likes to do things army style.
Right.
So yeah, so it's like never he taught me stuff in terms of like never ask, like always, if you have if you don't know, ask. There is always something to do. Like if you have nothing to do, find something to do, stuff like that. So working with such discipline kind of like shaped me like today, like in terms of cleanliness or treating people or coming to people's space and stuff like that. And then in terms of coffee, later on he signed me up for a coffee class. Yeah, so I went for a coffee class, a very intense coffee class, and learning coffee also, because coffee knowledge itself is very detailed, it's very intricate. I feel like there's a lot of things, that factors that you need to pay attention to, like everything for just a cup of like coffee, you know, for that shot. And like all of those details is just like how I deal with like people or like life. Like all these little factors can affect your, for example, relationship with the person or your outcome in your work and stuff like that. Yeah, so that was Thursdays.
Yeah. Alisya Fairuz, what is your deepest fear?
Oh my god, my deepest fear.
Yeah.
My deepest fear is to not be able to fully utilize my potential to provide or give back to the people I love or care about. Yeah. And that is my deepest goal as well. My deepest fear, yeah.
Yeah. In what? How do you imagine yourself providing for them?
My first person that comes to my mind is definitely my daughter, Arisa. She's 7 years old. Second is my mom, and then third is like for Malaysia, maybe for people, everyone. Like I want to. I don't know. Like that's the thing. I don't know yet. Like I feel like there's so much that can be like we can better ourselves, and like maybe knowledge or like in terms of like perseverance or resistance, everything. Like I feel like I want to give, and I don't know how I can do that yet, but like for now I'm just like constantly providing through my experience and sharing it to like for my closest person that I have right now is probably like my daughter. So I give what I can to her, like in terms of like my knowledge or anything. Yeah.
Where do you usually find inspiration? Inspiration in general, it could be for your art or inspiration to carry on in life.
It varies from time to time from where I am. Like sometimes I read, or it could be films, it could be people, it could be religion, it could be anything, because I think inspiration exists everywhere. Like it could be like movements or anything, you know. It's just that whether or not I want to accept that at all, because like the reason why people want to seek inspiration is because maybe they have, it's like blocked or something at that time. And why is it blocked? Because you are not able to accept things in front of you. So to have that, sometimes you just need to take a walk or something, and you know, like slow down and like take a breather and like look around, you know, and be present, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, so does traveling help with that?
Traveling, funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before this, I never really traveled. Actually, I only went to like Singapore, Bali, or I went to Australia before. So recently I went to Berlin and Amsterdam. So it was my first actually like going out of the country, really like in Europe, and I went for like a month and a week. So I found out that I may not like traveling.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually found out that like because I don't like traveling if it's like a short amount of time, where my goal is to find inspiration or to learn about another person's culture. Like for me, there's so much I can learn in Malaysia. Why am I like looking out, for example? But if, for example, like I was given a time for maybe stay in Berlin for a year, and that's when I feel like I would be able to fully utilize my time there and learn from Berlin, not in like a restricted amount of time where you need to learn about another person's culture. Like why now, you know. So traveling for me is not very like really now I feel like it's not really a big deal. Like if you want to go to outside to see other different things, like there's so many things that I feel like we have not explored yet in Malaysia itself. Like we're only here in KL. What about other cities? Or have you actually talked to like people from different age groups? Have you, like, you know, there's a lot of things that we are not explored yet here. So traveling is not really,
It doesn't really help unless you.
it's okay.
Unless you have more time. You
Yeah.
mentioned like a
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, maybe like if it was like a specific goal, for example, like going there for work instead of like I'm going there for inspiration, because that's very vague for me, you know, because inspiration can be seen everywhere. And like for me to say that like you have to travel to find inspiration is for me it's like a privilege, because not what about like artists that can't afford, or you know, artists that can't go like because of circumstances, maybe like, you know, so would they be limited to that?
You mentioned individuality, right? We as Malaysians would like individuality, we like to do things within our comfort zone and stuff. Do you think that's because we are brought up that way, or do you think there's a way for us to actually improve on that and make ourselves be more comfortable in being in our own skin? Do you think it's possible, or is it like a
So
It- you-
mindfulness.
do you have to start from a young age, or can we just switch right now?
Oh, we can switch definitely. It's just that, of course, it has something to do with the way we're brought up. I mean, I guess we're Asians, right? So we're more conservative in that way, and it's something that like it's a conscious effort to want to notice. I guess, you know. If you want to do something, go for it. If you think other people don't like it, why does it bother you? You know, stuff like that. Always question, what do you like? Why do you like it? You like this music, why do you like it? Is it because you heard it somewhere? Is it because it's famous now? You have to question what you actually like and don't like. If you don't know that, then I guess you never really know yourself. You're just working blindly and like just, you know, waiting for death or something, you know. Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
one person has to be conscious about it. Right.
Yeah, the person itself has to be conscious.
Yeah,
I
but
feel.
how do we educate like Malaysians? Let's say, okay, not Malaysians, people in Klang Valley in general,
To be
to be more in themselves.
oh, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
Well, I think that is something that we are already trying to do. Like I feel like the youth is more present about this facts. Like now we are more accepting of like the LGBTQ, for example, like maybe like 2012.
Right.
Like I feel like these people can't come out publicly and without people like bashing them. Now people are more open and more accepting, even though like and like the and people are more comfortable, I feel now. It's just that maybe it's a slower pace, you know. So I feel like we're fine. It's just that whether or not like we understand that the things that we do today is actually what we believe in and what we want to do, instead of like something that we adopted from the Western culture.
Right.
Yeah. Am I making
So we have
sense?
to be conscious about it. We have to know like the Western are not necessarily right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like at the end of the day, like you have to know where are we. We are in Malaysia. How's our economy? What's our political views or stuff like that. Like if you, for example, like an idea of a lifestyle may seem interesting from what you see in this digital screen, you know, and you think like, oh, there they can do it, why can't we do it here? But if you, for example, you want to carry out that here, why do you want to do it? Do you understand what I mean? So for example, like I think we have like, as much as there is acceptance now, we also have ran away totally from I think we don't know what being Malaysian is. That's me. I don't even know it either. Like my friend asked me before, what's a Malaysian sound? I have no idea. What's a Malaysian like Malaysian art? Like okay, wayang kulit maybe, right? Yeah, batik is batik Malaysian or Indonesian? I'm not sure. But like all of this, right? For example, but what represents Malaysia? I feel like we are also struggling with
We
that.
sort of lost our identity in
Exactly,
a way, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
And maybe because we're not very patriotic. That's one thing I learned in Berlin. Like I hang out with like some friends from Berlin, and like they're actually from there, and they know, like, for example, oh, this building was like this because after the Berlin Wall came down and stuff like that. They know why the buildings are like that, why there is a difference in architecture, why the street is different here, what happened here. So they're very aware in that sense, and I have no idea why these buildings we have high flats here. For example, like that, right? That's something that I feel like I can improve more, like in terms of learning. I mean, we were educated in terms of history in school, but were we really listening? Like what all of that is probably why is our country is the way it is today, and I think Malaysia deserves some, like, awareness, I guess.
Who would be your greatest mentor in art?
Mentor.
Yeah, art in general.
Yasmin Ahmad though.
Yasmin Ahmad.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I love Yasmin Ahmad. Yeah.
Fun fact: her parents' house is next to mine.
Oh, S19?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, nice.
Yeah.
Sick.
So she was there.
But your parents don't live there though, right?
What do you
They
mean?
still live there, parents?
I think her mom passed away, but I don't know. I don't know where her dad is right now, but they were living there for a while, and she was there. Actually, she was in and out
Oh,
of
so
the
you've
house.
seen her
I've seen her, but I wasn't conscious enough. Like, this is Yasmin Ahmad.
Yeah,
We were both. She passed away in 2009.
Yeah.
So when she passed away, I was 17. So before that, when she was like popping, it was 2007, 2006. I was like 13, 14. So I don't really.
Yeah, you were a kid, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they shot one of the films there. If you realize, Rabun or something. Yeah. Okay. So Yasmin Ahmad.
Yeah, Yasmin Ahmad.
With her films or writing as well?
Everything, like herself as a character, because I watched her interviews and like I've been following her since I was a kid lot, like.
Right.
So Yasmin Ahmad is this character that, like, I feel like if she was still around, I would make a point to, like, I wouldn't mind being your PA or something.
Really?
Just to be around you, because I feel like there are so many questions that I want to ask her, and like she is like I feel like she is a mother figure in a way, as much as, like, I mean, I love my mom, but like in that sense where with what she's doing is aligned with what I want to do. Because for me, what Yasmin Ahmad did was, like, she tried really hard to represent Malaysia in her art, and that was amazing. Like, it didn't have to be obvious with, like, having all these different race in, like, one movie. It doesn't have to be as obvious as that, but, like, little things like in Musin where Sharifah Ariana was speaking Mandarin, stuff like that. But it wasn't, like, obvious that the whole plot has to be that.
Yeah,
it's just
it's
that.
subtle, right?
Yeah,
Very
it's very subtle, and I love that about
And
her.
then there's I don't know, was it the same movie with the dog?
The dog.
Yeah, the one that Imam had to walk.
Oh no, that was
a different movie.
That was the one where there was the prostitute as well.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that
was
one.
a different movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But Yasmin Ahmad is great. Like, if that was like, if that is actually one of my goals to, like, if I want to make films, I want to do something that, like, I don't know, continue her legacy or something. I don't know. Like, if I could, I would. Yeah.
Right. Okay. What is the meaning of life, though?
Meaning of life.
Yeah.
The meaning of life, I guess, is death. Yeah. I mean, when there is life, there is death, and then there is that in between. So what do you want to spend time doing in that in between, I guess? I mean, it could be life is as meaningless and as meaningful as you make it to be. So it's all about time, right? So in that between, what do you want to do with it? So
How can life be meaningful, as you mentioned? Like,
how can it be meaningful?
yeah, how do you make your life more meaningful?
Well, that's very subjective. So
Okay.
for how I feel, how it can be meaningful is by being in touch with myself, being as human as I can. Because sometimes I feel like okay, can I have, like, this is hard.
Go.
I'm very bad at structuring my sentences. So, like, how to be as meaningful as I can is to be as human as I can, which is, like, there will be a lot of, like, distractions along the way for you to think that this is what it takes for you to have a better life, or this is where you need to go for a better life. Without knowing, you kind of lose that humanness in you. Sometimes you try to rationalize things out, or you try to emulate a certain person. Without knowing, you lose yourself as well. And how can you have meaning when you don't even know you, for example? So meaningful is to be as me as I can, the best way that I can and know how to.
So how do, like, let's say in general, not just this is going in global scale, not just people in Malaysia, like how does someone find themselves, you know? Do they have to go through a certain struggle to actually get to know themselves? Because we live in, like you mentioned, like a lot of distractions, right? We think that is ourselves. We think that certain persona is what we are,
yeah.
but then we actually watch too much of that movie, and we become that character. We dress certain way.
Yeah.
We feel like we associate with that self, but it's not us.
Exactly.
How do you really truly find yourself? You know what I mean?
I don't think people have to go through things to realize certain things. I think some people could be lucky enough to just, maybe they're more they question themselves a lot. I know some people who are like that.
Question. You mean
Yeah.
will you label them as overthinkers or thinkers in general?
I think they're just thinkers.
You're right.
I don't
Okay.
believe in overthinking.
Yeah, there's some
I never-
people.
Yeah,
they like to
that-
label people as overthinkers. So yeah.
I never believe in the thing overthinking.
Okay.
Because I feel like whatever you think is a valid thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, with a valid answer.
Yeah.
So it's whether or not you want to do that, because how I find it meaningful is how I am me, and this is what I want to fulfill my life doing, for example. But there are also people who are content with being or doing whatever they are doing, and who am I to say that you are not living a meaningful life? There is no one way for me. You can give a very religious person who never needed to question a lot of things and was never curious enough, and they have probably lived a meaningful and a happy life. So who am I to say that they are wrong and they are, so it's just what fills your cup of tea, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
But okay. But how do they know when they know themselves? You know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to like, because like do we even know ourselves at the end of the day? You know?
I don't think there is such a thing as a me.
Yeah.
We
are all
it's just
influenced by an outside world, right?
Yeah, exactly. So
Okay.
I feel like there is no such thing as there's no such thing as this is me. We are all just like, it's all like things we pick up along the way.
We are
I think,
product.
yeah.
We are product of our surroundings.
Exactly, we're a product of our surroundings, our experiences, and stuff like that. So, for example, like when you were 14, you were exposed to band music and like gigs, and you probably like punk music or something like that, right? And then suddenly, like, they're 20, and then this girl is listening to hip hop, and you're like, oh, that's not really her. How would you know? For example, like, this is very surface, like sometimes people just adapt to changes and environments, and they just pick up, So I don't think there is such a thing as a me, but what is fulfilling to you that you will know.
Okay.
At the end of the day, for me, that is that family is very important for me. How I feel fulfillment and meaning is when I am with my family, and I do good with my family, and I'm with my family. So, like, I don't know if it's like that with everyone. I used to think it's like that with everyone until I met a person who totally denies that is true. So I can't speak for everyone, but that is for me. Like, I have to always go back home, Like, home is where I am, and like where I'm most comfortable, where I am myself,
So for those people who question themselves a lot, that actually helps them finding who they are, or their own voice or something.
Depends on the person. If if they do question. Some people don't question, and they are comfortable with who they are, and who are you to decide that that's not who they are,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Cool. Looking at you, right? Your whole life, 24 years of life. I would say right now you are a really strong character. right? You sort of know what you want and whatever, because some of us, we are softer than like the ones who went through a certain struggle. Do you think like the struggle that you went through actually made you stronger?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And does that reformat your character in a way, or will you have always been like a go-getter, or you want this art, you do it.
Yeah.
You want this,
Yeah.
like for example, like this
Yeah,
chair.
chair.
Yeah,
Yeah, you put it there.
I was like questioning myself, where do I put this?
Yeah,
And then you're
yeah.
like, get the chair. I'm like,
Oh.
I didn't think of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. My mom always told me, Isha, kalau nak benda mesti dapat.
Yeah.
Because like if I really want something, I'll probably get it. But I think that's the whole thing about me drawing or whatever. It's like I always make things. For example, like I grew up with my mom that's like, why do you have to buy cards? You can make them. So everything at home is just like problem
True.
solving. Like if something is broken, it's not really broken, you can fix it. You know.
Yeah.
So it's always been there. So like that's why like going through like school and all that, when there's a problem, I always feel like there's a solution to it. You know, like what happens in between is the emotional state. But the emotional state you can't control because you will be emotional. You are a human being. You feel all the time. So, but what you can control is the solution, and that's up to you. So, yeah, I feel like
Has that always been like
in me, yeah,
you?
that has always been in me, but maybe sharpened as I grew older. Like never really noticed it. It was just like more of like when I was like 9, I wanted money, so I sold like paper bracelets to my classmates for like 50 cents, you know. So stuff like that. It's always just been there. I just never noticed it, you know.
right?
Like problem solving
Problem solving is
or
the
like
key.
supply and demand or demand and supply.
Yeah, that's actually the key to
Yeah.
to being a good business.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. The more you can sell, the more money you make. It's obvious, right? But yeah, problem solving. Wow, cool.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful trait to have. Do you think you can be trained? You can practice your way in it?
Of course
Yeah?
you can. Like if you're being put in a situation or an environment where you have to, like Thursdays was one of them. Like IE Hadri, the boss.
Okay.
It's like if you come to him with a problem without a solution, he'll be like,
Oh shit.
and what do you want me to do? You know?
Sure.
So you come, it's like, this thing is broken, but I fixed it. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's like, it's good a way to sharpen yourself, like, I feel. So a lot of people who worked there during my time now are like very like go-getters, I guess.
Right.
Like, you know, you're always like facing, yeah.
So you always have to find ways to fix a problem. Don't
Yeah.
just dwell on them.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, give it your period of time to dwell in it and then rationalize yourself and feel, how can I get off? Like, I used to live by this this thing where kalau phone rosak, fix. Kalau tak ada duit, cari. You know, it's just like as simple as that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Where do you see yourself in 10 years though?
10 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you feel like you'll still be here in
Oh,
Malaysia?
34. Oh, 34, yeah.
34,
I'll be
yeah.
34. So I just talked about this actually.
Mm.
So interesting enough, 34, my daughter, will be 17.
Yeah.
So
I
she'll
had
be-
that thought
yeah.
just now.
Yeah.
She'll be 17.
She'll be
yeah.
17. So like I was just like, this 10 years is when I need to like really hustle and hard work and work really hard for her, because for school and stuff like that. And by the time then she'll go to university, so by 34 is where I will relax.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
34
you know-
I'm gonna chill and sit down and maybe like not think for a bit, like maybe a month or take 6 months off and just like chill.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
what-
So these next 10 years will be a hustle and
these 10 years will be a
grind.
hustling, yeah,
Wow. Cool.
until I relax for a bit.
What would be? Do you have any like? Have you ever thought of this? Like, what if this video or this podcast is actually the last advice that you could ever pass to your daughter? What would it be, and what would you say to her?
Oh God,
Yeah.
I'll say. Oh no, this is hard. Okay, I guess I tell her to like feel whatever you want to feel. Any emotions you have is valid. Any thought you have is valid, but don't be afraid of yourself. Question things, always find an answer. Think about yourself, think about other people, be good to people, and try to find my diary. There's a lot more things in there for you that I have saved up when for you when you turn 21. Yeah.
Wow. Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, Daniel Rais. Thanks, Daniel Rais. You were right.
Daniel Rice is great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Daniel Rice is a great person.
Yeah. He's the reason why Alisya Fairuz is on the podcast right now.
Oh,
Yeah, and thank you so much. He mentioned like you have a pot of gold in you
Oh, wow.
that is waiting to be shared with the
Oh,
world.
wow.
And once I
That's
heard
sweet.
that, I'm like, wow,
That
I
is
need to
sweet.
have her on the podcast. Oh,
That is sweet.
so far so good. Okay, obviously you have dealt with like those dark days, right?
Yeah.
Another advice that you would give to those people who are actually going through some tough time in life, that has been contemplating suicide, their mental health not in check, right? What advice or what suggestions do you have for these people to actually see the bright side, or actually to have a better life, to improve on themselves, and not to actually
Yeah.
take their own life? And there's actually the other sides to it that you just need to cross over
Understand.
to see the light at the end of the tunnel. What advice would you have for these young, or maybe
People.
yeah
Well, the thing about suicide, okay, because I mean, I'm surrounded by a lot of people who are like that.
mm-hmm.
So I cannot influence them to not take their lives. For example, that's not my call. That is their life for me. Like I said, life can be as meaningless and as meaningful as you want to make it to be.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the person holding it is their choice, you know.
Right.
But if, for example, you do like for how I dealt with it,
Mm-hmm.
is that to don't drown. That's the why like that poem was very important to me. Was that because like some days are really really bad and you just feel like you're drowning and everything feels heavy and like and you think that this is you, this is a part of you, but like try before you decide and before you like call the shots and give up. Like try at least to like make an effort to want to be better, to change. Or it can be as simple as cleaning your room or changing the furnitures or like making more effort to wake up early or have a conversation with your mom, you know, like change your habits, like write down like goals or what do you want to do different today. It doesn't have to be like as big as like I want to be a different person, I want to quit. Start small, you know, like small things can like it will just affect as much, you know. Yeah. And don't like friends are important. Like the sorry, the closest people you have, the five closest people you have shapes you. So pick your friends, pick your surroundings. Be surrounded with like good people. If you know that you are the person that cannot handle things, you know, if you know that you adapt and you easily absorb energy from people, then you have to be aware that these people that you surround yourself with will affect you later on, you know.
Mm.
Yeah.
Right, so choose your friends, choose the
Yeah.
people wisely, and try to change your habits and be
Yeah.
as close to your family as possible, right?
Yeah.
Find support.
That's for me. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. Right. But why do you think they got into that funk in the first place? Do you think it's because the pressure that we have from society, or you think it's because of the energy that they have?
I feel like I think I have being in 2018 that and everything's super fast and everyone's like I don't know, like supposedly doing well. This whole social media, the very obvious portrayal of success, like it's pressuring to people.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why like for this whole year I made an effort, I made a point to never like publicize my wins. Like I don't really put up like my winnings or like put so much positive or like positive messages outside. I don't feel like it's necessary because I feel at one point it's super saturated, and when people wake up and they see all these things, it's like they are obligated to do good or be better. What's wrong with being okay or average or fine? What's wrong with that? You know, why do we? There's so much going on, like with, and how everyone's supposedly like a self-made millionaire, or self-made businessman, self-made this and self-made that, and self-proclaimed everything. I feel like it's pressuring to a lot of people, and they feel like, am I not doing enough? Because there's this whole comparison, and people just decide that social media is bad for me, or social media is not good. When social media is basically just a thing. So it's whether or not like you want to accept it or not and see beyond that. So of course it's pressuring to people, I guess. It's just that I feel that your mind as well plays a part in this. If you have low self-esteem, lack in confidence and all that, you don't really know yourself, then of course it's easy for you to like question if you're good enough, for example, stuff like that.
Yeah, basically to conclude that, it's all anxiety, right?
Yeah.
It's just in your head,
Yeah.
right? You just get up.
I mean, I don't know. It's like the thing about this is that like I don't like mental illness is a serious issue. I don't discard that. So I don't think that like it's petty at all. It's not like it's for some people that they have it really 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 bad, like and I still don't know how I can help them. Sometimes they don't want to be helped. I don't know that, but it's also sometimes people just need supportive people around them as well, and they need to know that it's okay for you to be okay, you don't have to be like, because I think we all have this whole idea in our head that like maybe when we were kids, we at this age we'll have a little bit figured out or something, or when you are supposedly like every day you are just swiping through people's lives and like you are spending more time looking at other people than yourself. Now you kind of like reflect that, oh, I'm not doing this, or my life isn't as interesting. So those things can affect you and your mental health and yourself to feel pressure that you should do more. For example, and that's one of the reasons why I don't like to do, for example, interviews about like, for example, like interest, like inspiring, all that, because it's good for me. What I'm doing right now is good for me. I don't know if it is for you. I can't expect you to make the same decisions I made or follow this and then you'll be like, for example, satisfied or fulfilled, because this is fulfilling for me. I don't know what fills your cup of tea,
Yeah. Right.
for example. So that's why I very really emphasize on people should know themselves in the sense of what is fulfilling for them and meaningful for them. Because if you keep comparing yourself to people and thinking that this is worse, then you'll forever feel lost,
Yeah. So don't compare yourself to others to begin with.
Yeah.
Right. It just gives an unnecessary anxiety, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, let's get back to where we were, Malaysia, right?
Okay.
Why do you think Malaysia is stuck to where we are right now with the art scene, with the music scene, and everything, that's all the talent, the pool of talents that we have? Why are we not popping to the scale of mainstream media just yet? Do you think we are not good enough, or is it because of the limitations that the society set upon ourselves? How
You
do you
mean
think
mainstream media? Do you mean like outside or inside?
outside? I mean,
Outside.
I mean,
okay.
like what I meant is the music that we have in the Klang Valley, the music, the English music, you know,
Yeah.
the where the universal, the whole world can enjoy. And I feel
Understand.
like our music are actually better than, I mean, not to say better, but
It's up to par?
Yeah, it's up to par to
Understand.
the ones overseas. But why are we not out there yet, you think?
Lack of support from our people.
Yeah.
Because Malaysia dengki though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like simple. For me lah. Sorry guys, but it is what it is though. Cause I mean I've been very involved like with like in terms of like I don't know if they're underground, but like more of like the local music scene, like bands or like rappers and like artists and stuff like that. So we are very spiteful of our own, but when it's
each other, or spiteful of their own ground?
I think each other,
Yeah.
more like that. I feel it's about like we always say, support local, but when I do an event, none of my close friends come. I'm like, why? Because I don't fuck with their music, okay? But you go to clubs and they play exactly the same, like almost the same things that that these people can make, but this is local made. Why are you probably like listening to like Lil Pump, Gucci Gang, when these people can make really good trap about YouTube, rokok YouTube, and you
Yeah.
can relate to it because it's a Malaysian thing, for
Yeah.
example. It's lack of support, I feel.
Yeah.
And the fact that, for example, the whole being conservative is one thing as well. It's the fact that we are very conservative, we're very like close-minded in that sense, where when we do something extraordinary, there will be other side that's like questioning why, what your methods are like not conventional, what is this is not real music, this is not good enough. But why is it okay when a rapper from New York did it, or not, like whatever, so I feel like there's lack of support
Yeah.
at the end of the day. And for that, Malaysia being conservative, so we will always be like macam not true to who we are or whatever,
Because we adapt to whatever the whole world wants, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
For example, and not just that, like I mean, because I know that there's a lot of like really really good people who deserves recognition, but it's the lack of support is one. Is also because they can't go mainstream. Is two, because the mainstream media thinks that the mainstream media still takes like very like your normal pop or like Joe Flizzo hip hop. Sorry, but like because like I said, it's a conservative culture.
Yeah.
So they think that this is what they listen to, but you wouldn't know until you put it there, right? So yeah, it's all about like changing the mindset of people. How do you change the mass? It's very hard.
Right.
Someone should be Perdana Menteri kot.
Yeah.
I vote Alisya Amin to be Perdana Menteri actually.
Alisya Amin.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
We need the breakthrough for
Yeah.
that to happen. Like probably for someone to just go to the States and make it happen, and then people recognize Malaysia and then bring the whole.
But that's the thing. Why
Right.
I feel. Why does it have to be that? Why does it have to be someone going out of the country, and then baru Malaysia
Yeah.
believe that they can
Yeah.
let you know?
Yeah, and as a recent actress or something.
Yeah, like
and
the one who did Marvel or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like thinking, why do you have to leave the country first?
To
and
get
then-
accepted,
Yeah,
right?
to get accepted. Why is it not good enough to be for us Malaysians who love our Malaysian creatives, just them here, So that's when I question, like, do we really understand it? Do we accept it because we understand it, or do we accept it because it's easy? Those things are very important questions for us to ask, I feel. Yeah.
Right. Cool. Do you think Malaysia will get anywhere in time to come? Like Malaysia's music, will it be popping in time to come? Will it be accepted?
I feel like, of course, there's hope. Of course, there's hope. Definitely. Like, maybe I won't be around to see it. Maybe I'll be older as well. But the fact that right now we still have these kids doing it, it's just that it's just that they can't give up. Like, like this whole underground scene or this like whole local music scene. They can't, because I know that some people get tired eventually and like just like like fuck this, but it has to be a cycle where like maybe the youngs come in, and that's why we can't be spiteful of each other. We should always like accept and welcome new
Support.
young talents.
Yeah.
For that.
Yeah. There's hope for Malaysia.
Yeah.
What advice do you have for high school leavers who are lost, who high school leavers who just finished with SPM, or ICSE, whatever,
IGCS, I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. What advice do you have for them if they don't know what they want to do in life? Should they go to college, or how do they find what their calling? Does college really actually help them?
I tell all my friends to go to school, college, university is good, school is good. School is good for you. School is your buffer time before you go actually in the real world.
Yeah.
For me, but before you go to school, you need to know what you want to do first. But it doesn't have to be like, don't think that people say do what you want to do in school and then that's the good thing that you're going to do in the rest of your life. Find something practical that is useful enough for you to utilize when you leave uni. For example, like something that's good with your skills, technical skills that you can carry forward. For example, all of these things are very important. Sebab school is like a cheat code for time, for education, for knowledge, and for people, for you to get a job, because knowing our economy in Malaysia, it's not easy for you to just like, hey, I want to be an artist and I'm going to survive. Hey, I want to start a business and I'm going to survive. It's not easy. Our economy is really bad. So you need to have this backup plan, that the moment that things don't work out, you still have this certificate for you to bring, and like, hey, can I do this for like 6 months till I figure out what I want to do next, you know? So I feel like education is very important.
So for
Cannot
those,
be sombong lah. Yeah.
okay, so that is how they find their calling, find themselves, right? Yeah, what they want to do in life to go.
I don't think college is the place where
Oh,
you're
yeah,
gonna find
okay.
yourself, because I
Alright.
still don't.
Okay.
But school is a good buffer time
Oh, it gives you time
to
to
figure
actually-
out what you
okay.
want to do. Yeah. But while you do it, find something practical that you can carry, you can bring after it.
But if you already know, let's say you want to do music at 16 years old, you want to do music,
Then go to a music school.
Okay.
Sharpen your skills.
sharpen your
tools.
skills.
Yeah.
So school,
Yeah, it is important. Of course. I
okay.
feel like when you go to a music school, you'll be surrounded by a lot of people who are doing the same things. That is better for your skills, because you are exposed to a lot of things. You're exposed to teachers, more opportunities, knowing what is out there, what are job opportunities, the limitations, instead of you at home Googling yourself. You know? It's just you against yourself. So when you go to school, for me, I feel like there's so much out there that you can see, you know? It's just like traveling but in a school for people who's like wants to learn new things, you know? School is good. Yeah.
nice. Okay, go to school, go to university,
Go to
guys.
school, guys.
Music, listening to music, creating art,
Yeah.
and family, right?
Yeah.
Three most important thing. If you had to lose one thing to stay alive, which one would it be? That you have to will not be able to do that. I mean, see that or encounter that ever again. Listening to music, you will not be able to create art, or you will not be able to see your family. Which one of these three?
I have to like
Sacrifice
Oh,
to
music.
stay alive. So, okay.
Music. Yeah.
So art and family then. It's the
Yeah.
most important thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because music is just like I'm consuming
Luxury.
it. Yeah.
Luxury, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Consuming.
Okay, this is where I flip the script and let you ask anything that you want to ask. Because I've been asking you
Yeah.
a whole bunch of questions,
Yeah.
and this could be anything that you're curious about, anything that you want to know about me, or about anything at all in general, or
Okay.
could be not about me. Yeah.
Why do you do this podcast? What do you want to achieve from it?
This podcast is actually a project that I made. It's actually to have the opportunity to have conversations like this. For example, if I don't have this project, it's the opportunity for me to have a chat with Alisya Fairuz is probably way harder than it is now. So that's the first thing, to have a good conversation. Second thing is to document it and see myself how will I improve in, let's say, 1 year from now. Because usually improvement is subtle and we don't actually feel it, but with documentation you can actually, because now I'm actually 9 weeks in, I can already feel the difference of
Understand.
me, like doing things in general, because I usually post this every Friday, and because the whole world knows I'm going to post it every Friday, so I have to, no matter how busy I am, I have to allocate like some time to actually edit it and put it together and publish it Friday no matter what. So at the end of the day, I want to have a good conversation, documentation of my improvement, and lastly, I want to bring this around where I travel. At some point I want this to be a nomad thing where I go around
And see.
around the world and have a conversation with people and just record.
Understand.
Yeah, that's
So would you say this is more personal then, a personal project for you, because it's for you to like find inspiration, I guess, in people.
in a way, yes, but it also helps to create moments, because usually we have these smart conversations or inspiring conversation with our friends,
But no one documents it.
Yeah, it's not documented, and it's usually at mama session or coffee or whatever, right? When, like, in years to come, there's gonna be people who stumble upon these things, and let's say someone who admire you, look up to you, that you don't know of, and listen to this and understand you better from your perspective. You know, I mean, not just your art. Yeah. So the whole idea is to create. Actually, it's a podcast. Actually, I also see that the audio is actually the next big thing.
that you want to get
Yeah,
into, like putting it in Spotify and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, audio in general, podcast in general is the
Yeah.
next big thing that the world is going
Oh,
towards.
understand.
Right, with Alexa and
Understand.
yeah. So I'm trying to get there, but I don't know why I'm heading in general,
Understand.
in like where my career is going. But right now I'm doing this, and whatever comes next, and however I can improve on, I'm actually up for that.
Understand.
Yeah.
Where do you plan on like making this into like a radio show or something?
Yeah, at some point, I feel like there's a market there. I mean, yeah, I have that vision. I just don't know how do I maneuver it towards
To get
that.
there? Yeah. I guess getting the followings first
Yeah,
as well.
followings first.
Or
yeah.
connections, KL after all, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
You're right. Cool. Okay, who do you suggest to be featured next on this podcast? You think that has something to share that probably has a different perspective than you,
Oh,
right? And it's probably a strong character or not. Or
there's a few. There is Kuching Miso, Dian. She works at snack food. She's a very interesting character. There's one. There's you should interview Jin Hackman from Raising the Bar. I
Right.
feel because he's one of the orang-orang lama, and I'm pretty sure he has so much history and things and insights that he can share. You should interview Farhan from Hoax
Hoax.
because he's like young and he started Hoax as a young kid and has a lot of things to say. Should
Right.
interview Alisya Amin,
Nisha, I mean,
definitely, because Alisya Amin is like I feel like one of the most misunderstood characters because I kind of know her personally. We used to work together at Thursdays,
right.
so
She was a barista.
yeah, she was a barista.
Wow,
I
I
think
didn't-
she still. I mean, she
Didn't
makes
know that.
coffee.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she.
Wow.
We work at Thursdays together, so.
Cool.
She makes really good latte art. I'm gonna give her credit to that. She talks about it. Yeah, but like
She does, cool.
She's Alisya Amin is one of the people that I know that's very honest about being themselves. Alisya Amin, yeah, and people I guess Malaysia doesn't accept her yet, but if I follow her on Twitter and I like her views on how things could change is very like in depth, and I think she deserves. Yeah, she should deserve more credit for that. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Thanks for that. How do people find you on social media in general?
Okay. It's 4715y4 on Instagram, and yeah, that's it. Actually, everything else is just like private, personal stuff.
Right. Cool. Okay. Last questions. How do you want the world to remember you? How do you want the world to remember Alisya Fairuz?
Someone as a lover.
Hmm.
Yeah. I would like to be remembered as someone who's loving and care for people. Yeah.
Right.
Passionate. Yeah.
Loving, caring,
Yeah.
passionate.
Yasmin Ahmad once said, "Why are we so afraid of our sentiments?" Yeah. Yeah. So.
Wow. Thank you so much,
You're welcome.
Alisya.
Thank you for
Alright.
giving me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's it.
Nice.
Hello, Kopi Milo podcast.
Style.
Alisya Amin.
Kopi Camilo. I'm not Alisya Amin.
Alisya
Fairuz.
So lost.
That was nice.
Oh yeah, speaking.
Yeah.
4715Y4. Why?
Alisya.
Oh, okay.
4 is A, 7
Okay.
is L, 1 is I.
It's the other way.
5 is S.
Wow.
Yeah, it's my name and numbers.
Oh my gosh, look at
Yeah.
that. Ultra
Yeah.
creative genius.
No.
Hello, Kopi Milo podcast. Milo Fico signing out.